Today, I'd like to have our chief leaders in the pledge allegiance, and then I'll say a prayer for them.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Bow our heads. Please, dear Father, we come to you tonight, asking you to be with us during our business meeting. Reach out to each and every one of us to help us make the right decisions, oh Lord. We thank you for who you are. We ask this, all of this in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Now call this meeting to order. Thank you, City Commission. First set of business. We'll have Mr. Chris Holly come up. We're not going to jump out of order, or he wants to bring us a report tonight, so we want him to come and speak to us in just a moment.
Mayor, Commissioners, thank you for the time you've allowed me to come and talk to you a little bit. It's an exciting time for our community. I don't have to probably tell anybody in the room that we heard the announcement that Eastern Shipbuilding was successful in their Coast Guard bid. I spent the last week with a lot of economic development folks from around the state, and I think everybody in Florida was excited for the Panhandle and specifically for this region. You know, there's a lot that we don't know. I guess the message on Eastern at this point is that, you know, the hopes and the prayers have been answered, but now the work begins. And the message is that from the county standpoint to the city, to Eastern, to St. Joe, to all of us have to work together. And there's going to be a lot of work to do. So, you know, we've reached out to Eastern and St. Joe both. We're trying to get some more information. We obviously want to know what we can do to help. The little summit was in Orlando, probably 300 people there. Senator Jack Papala, who visited our area recently, who was the Senate Appropriations Chair of Florida Legislature, only mentioned one community that he's focused on helping, and that's Port St. Joe, and getting this port opened up. Obviously, Senator Mumford also sends his congratulations, and he's willing to help as well. There are a few other things that I wanted to mention. We do have a lot of work going on. The county's, hopefully next week, the commission's going to approve a $65,000 regional freight logistics plan. We have 4 counties involved. It's Gulf, it's Franklin, it's Liberty, and it's Gaston. I've attended commission meetings in each county that everyone's excited. This is connecting intermodally the port, the rail, the airport in Apalachicola, the rail that goes up through Liberty, where we've had several other mill sites along the rail there, and then connects to the CSX line and the interstate system in Gadsden. So this is more of a regional approach. It identifies sites along the rail that have the potential for industry or businesses to start up. I'm sure many of you that know economic development know that when you land a big project like this, that's just one project. There are a lot of other projects that come along. There are suppliers and people who are going to be involved in serving this contract, and we want them to locate in our region. And so we have to be prepared with sites that are shovel ready, and there's a lot of work that goes into that. We're having a visit next week by Genesee Wyoming Rail folks to look at the existing infrastructure here. Many of you that have been here a lot longer than I have know that, you know, the old mill site, the rail service was taken up. There's nothing under the overpass there now. You know, what kind of access do we need to that site to serve Eastern and others? And what other sites do we need to get rail to? All of this will go into this plan. We'll do rail assessments in Franklin County and look at the connectivity to the airport. We'll look up through Liberty and on into Gaston. And at the end of the grant, the deliverables, which have to be done by next June, you'll basically have a capital improvement program for a region intermodally, roads, rail, airport, everything in that plan. And then that's just a work program going forward. You're supposed to get priority from DOT on funding, so we'll see how that works. We do have another project. I've been working very closely with the attorney on a project that's been around for a couple of years that we're getting close on. That we might use the Arizona Chemical site. It's a wood product company, and at peak could be 70, 100 jobs at peak. But there's a lot of work to do on that one as well. But we're hoping that project will allow us to submit an application to DOT for the rail repair money. But I guess y'all know that the rail is not operational. right now, at least in our end. So there's a commitment from the state for $5 million. That's 75%, and the 25% match is to come from St. Joe and Genesee, Wyoming. All goes well. But we needed a project in order to submit that, so if things go well in the next month or so, we hope to submit that application. It'll go right now under the signature of the chair of the board and the chair of the Port Authority. Don't feel left out, you know, that's just the way right now we're going to submit it, unless we hear otherwise. And obviously we'll be talking to our partners in the legislature and making sure that we get the right answer when we ask DOT for that money. You know, port dredging, the channel dredging project moves forward, the final design is still in the works. Still a lot of talk about Triumph right now. At the meeting I was at, a lot of talk about Triumph. There's kind of a regional plan being done by the Great Northwest Organization. It's a regional economic development entity, and they've gotten a $300,000 grant from the federal government to do an economic plan for the region. They'll be holding stakeholder meetings and coming over into our community and talking to folks. It's not authorized, it's not something that the Triumph board has said we want you to do. They're doing that separate from the Triumph process. And of course, we have to fight to make sure that the 75% of the settlement from BP comes to the 8 counties, which was what the original Triumph legislation said, but we have new leadership in Tallahassee, and we have to make sure that that money, that commitment that was made, is adhered to, and that may be an uphill battle. I don't want to scare anybody, but we're going to go make sure that it comes our way. I'd be happy to answer any questions. You know, Brett and I have an office right next to each other, so we talk all the time. The mayor's on the advisory board, I see him, see folks at church, see folks socially, and sometimes it's good just to walk in and have a conversation and make sure that everybody's on the same page. So we look forward to working with y'all on Eastern and other projects that's in your community. But I'm optimistic that things are starting to happen. And, you know, we got a lot of work to do, but good times on ahead for our community. So let me stop talking and see if I can answer any questions.
Anybody have any questions?
I would just like to thank you, Chris, first of all, for coming today and giving us another day. You know, there hasn't been any information to really be given over the past couple of years since you've been here. And really, if it would be okay with you, I would like to maybe every month or bi-monthly or something, maybe you can come and give us this report. When it does come time, when we start trying to lobby to make sure we get this money in Tallahassee with the change in the guard up there, please keep us in touch of what we might need to do and how we might need to go about helping, sending letters, talking to senators, congressmen, whoever we need to reach out to be sure that we can ensure that funding's there.
Well, some of the work right now, you know, there's obviously it's election season, you know, so there's a lot of new folks coming on. You know, we have a new senator over in Evers seat, Mr. Hudson. So we're going to try to reach out. Doug's been involved in the oil spill as a House member for a long, long time. Obviously, Jay Trumbull's important. Old Bashir is important. So Bumper's, you know, with us. Jack Alfal's with us. Clay Ingram's important. He was in the House Economic Committee chair. So, you know, everyone has heard. I understand that Speaker Designate Corcoran was in our region last week, meeting with folks over to the west of us. That's where I think you're going to see more discussion on the House side. The Senate seems comfortable with the current legislation, but I think the House is a little more conservative on incentives, especially in the economic development arena. And so we've heard that they are allowable under the current Triumph legislation. So I think you're going to see tweaks to the allowable uses of Triumph funds by the House, and whether the Senate goes along or not, you know, will be seen. I think the House wants more oversight. Right now, there's a 5-board member. Alan Bentz is our closest member. The other 4 members of that 5-member board are more to the west. The 3 counties on the eastern end of the 8 don't have representation on the Triumph board. For some of us, that's a little concerning, but we like Alan. You know, he's listened to us, former Speaker of the House. So, you know, the number one priority is maintaining the funding for the 8. After that, if there's tweaks to the uses or tweaks to the oversight, website, you know, my opinion is, you know, let's work with them and see if we can get a compromise that works for everybody. Their Great Northwest Group is committed to try to create a group that they can communicate with. I think you're exactly right. Everybody's got to stay on the same page, and if the day comes where there's a committee meeting and we need folks from this body, folks from the county commission and others to go to Tallahassee, to talk to people and to speak at committee meetings, we'll make sure it happens. And then everybody's on the same page in our region. We just gotta, nothing against South Florida, but we gotta make sure they don't try to stick their fingers in the water.
Absolutely. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Chris. Appreciate you coming.
You bet.
Thank you. Next order of business, we have, going over the minutes of the consent agenda, regular meeting on 9/6 and a special meeting on 9/7. I have a motion to approve. Motion by Commissioner Brazil, second by Commissioner Thursday. All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. We have a Port St. John update, redevelopment. Anything on there with that? Okay. All right, then, Mr. Attorney, it's up to you.
First thing I've got is resolution 2016-7. This deals with, civil rights demonstrations and the policy of the city. This is a requirement, we were told, of, CDBG grants, that you have to have a policy like this in place. I don't really think it will have a lot of impact. I don't ever remember any issue like this coming up in Fort St. Joe. And I don't think it greatly impacts the ability of our law enforcement people to do their job. So we need you to vote on the adoption of this resolution.
All right, everybody had a chance to look it over? Have a motion?
Second.
We have a motion?
I'm
I have a motion by Commissioner Thursday, we have a second. Second by Commissioner Hasbro. Any further comment? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
We have a hearing coming up on the Shipyards Cove lawsuit Billy Coran filed a year and a half ago or so. This is a motion to ask the judge to order us to pay his attorney's fees. It's set for October 11th. I think it's a pretty routine hearing. I'll be surprised if the judge goes along with that, because he's got to do that, he's got to find that our defense of this lawsuit was completely frivolous. We adopted this ordinance years before Billy applied for this beverage license. We adopted it based on specific circumstances that occurred over on Reed Avenue, and there wasn't anything frivolous in the defense of the suit. So we just need to go get through that hearing.
But Tom, we did lose that suit, right?
We did.
But you don't think they're gonna make us pay for his attorney fees since he won?
No,
Did he win or we lose?
there is no provision in the law for us to pay the winner's attorney's fee just because he won. If the judge finds that our defense was frivolous, that we were just wasting the court's time in defending that lawsuit, then he can award attorney's fees. What we did in this situation is, when Billy applied for a beverage license, the city has to sign off on that license saying that he complies with all the zoning laws. Well, city clerk, city manager couldn't sign off on that because we had an ordinance that said couldn't do it. And so Billy filed the lawsuit. But just because he won is no basis for the judge to award attorney's fees.
Tom, were you at that hearing, this hearing, when it took place?
No,
I know you didn't represent us
Right.
in this case, but you weren't there.
no.
Because I did hear that the judge
anticipate is that, we put on testimony, about how that ordinance was adopted and why, and, you know, I still don't know why the judge ruled the way he did, and the other 3 or 4 lawyers that I know of that have read the whole thing really don't know either. But, there's, at this point, there's nothing to do but go have this hearing and put on the best information that we can put on.
Are you representing us?
No,
Can you represent us?
I cannot, because I'm a witness. You know, Russ wrote the ordinance, and so one of us is basically gonna have to testify at the hearing as to what and why and that kind of thing.
So who is?
I assume that Mel is still planning to do it. I've had a couple of emails with him. I don't know any reason why he wouldn't be expected to do it.
Is he gonna, do it free of charge?
He said he would represent us in this lawsuit free of charge. This is part of the representation. I mean, I can't speak for him, but that's what I expect. I've had a couple of emails with him about it.
Can you find that out before this day? You gotta pay a lawyer or not? I mean, like, we need to know. If you can do that for us, we appreciate it.
Okay. I've also talked to Pat Floyd about this, and I told Pat that, you know, we needed some kind of basis. At this point, I have nothing that I could recommend to you one way or another, as to whether attorney's fees are reasonable, as to whether Billy's entitled to anything. I have no basis for giving you any advice on that issue. So he was gonna pass that along to Billy, and whether Billy does anything with that information, I don't know.
Yeah, I tried to get up with Pat yesterday, but he was not available. I'm gonna ask him some questions about it. Just somebody can get up with him, use somebody before you and find out. I mean, he knows his choice, his price, don't he? He knows what his bill is gonna be. As far as his attorney fees, I'm sure. I don't know about all the court costs.
I'll make sure we're as prepared as we can be for this thing.
And, you know, at one time, I was told for $8,000 we would have to go to court. So I don't know if it's better to go to court and spend more, or spend the 8, I'm not sure. But anyway, if you'll find out from Pat what it is and find out from Mel, you will still.
I will, and we've got a meeting between now and then. I don't know any more about the sale of those 2 pieces of property. I've not seen any of the appraisals.
The appraisal did come in for the Commerce Park lot, which I did give copies from, on that. I have not seen anything on the wood.
What was the appraisal?
We have an appraisal, but then it also says in there that there's another price. I didn't quite understand everything. Did you understand better than I did, Jim? One says 65, is it giving us a high and a low?
From what I was told, it was 65.
Did you read what I was seeing, what I saw?
I'm not sure if he was looking at different comparables, highs and lows.
Yeah, and
I'm not
maybe I
sure.
read it wrong, but maybe you can look at that real carefully and have Tom look that over with you this week, and maybe get with me or something, because I did not really understand it. Maybe some of you guys understood it better than I did.
I seen the same thing.
Did you?
The 65, I said the same thing.
So,
We'll ask him.
I'm a little confused on that.
We'll see if we can get some clarification.
Let me ask you a question then. A month ago at our meeting, we voted to turn both pieces of property over to our real estate agent for her to get an appraisal on the property and sell it. Last meeting, we voted to take the Commerce Park lot out of that arrangement. So now, does our real estate agent have the Ward Ridge building or not? She should have.
The discussion I had with our realtor is we were trying to wait until the appraisal came in, that way she could look at it and she could give us a good clarification of how we want to move forward on it. So we do not have a contract per se on either one of these lots with your realtor at this point.
we were supposed to have with Ward Ridge.
But right now,
Based on,
yes,
so
the current plan right now is voting on this side.
we turned the real estate agent loose just like we did on the hospital property and see if they can sell it for us. That's what we voted on?
We just, you know, I've spoken to several people that don't want us to sell this, and I think some of the board members that night said that they didn't want to sell it, so do you think we should maybe have another meeting to discuss the sale of it? Because my reason for wanting to sell this building was to help me budget, and that was my only reason. Now that we have finalized our budget pretty much, do we still want to sell the piece of property? Is that something you come back to?
That really wasn't my reasoning, to begin with, that it was working out, and it was going to possibly have some budget. But my reason was, we've got a piece of property that we don't really need, it's old, it's maintenance, it's upkeep, it's insurance. If we keep being frugal with our money like we have for the last 8 or 9 years I've been here, we'll have enough money if we need to build it, we can build a brand new building, and not have to worry about, you know, obviously air conditioning not working here now. So it's always something in the old building. That was my reason, because it's surplus.
And my feelings on that, Commissioner, is if, no matter what we sell or keep, if we do decide to keep this particular building, we need to take care of it. I don't want it to be Centennial Building number 2. And if we make any revenues off of the sale of this other property, and we do decide to keep this building, I want to see us put at least enough money to get the air and the electrical. And that's all I'll say. I don't mind hanging on to this piece of property for future expansion if needed. We need to take care of it. We don't have a very good track record of taking care of our things.
Mr. Ashford, that's not a bad idea. I'm for that. I mean, we are gonna keep, I think every public and staff like to leave out here. I like this building, it's bigger.
Still don't like the carport.
But I'm with you on, you know, we sell one of these other properties, yeah, some of it at least.
No, I'm all for that, and, you know, guys, I mean, if we can sell it, I'm fine with selling it, we need to keep it. But,
I just don't wanna keep on keeping it on down the road, let's make decisions.
Yeah, let me
Let's
just make a
move on.
decision, and I'm not trying to flip flop on it, because my only reasoning was, and I understand what, Mr. Pazette also says, but my main reasoning in the get-go was only because of the budget restraint that we had, and I feel bad with that. But I also don't disagree with what Commissioner Pazette said.
There's also the possibility that we may not come up with funding to finish projects, in parts of town that we've been promising for a long time. And if that ever came to fruition, where we did not have the money to fund a project, I want this as an option. I'll bring it up again for sale if we can't finish fixing water lines.
Well, I think all of us were in agreement that money was going toward Long Avenue to make sure we got that project farther down the road than the money we had at the present time. So that was another reason. Our streets are in bad shape, as we all know.
Anything else? No business.
The first item we had tonight is under the propane gas vehicles. Mayor, do you have anything tonight?
I don't have anything else. If you talk to anybody
I haven't heard
about
anything else about it.
the type of vehicle that has to be, you say it can't be one of our older vehicles, it has to be a brand new vehicle.
I don't know that for
Let me get
certain.
with Jason and talk to him about that. If you give me that piece of paper, you got to tell him what it needed to be. I'll go talk to him and find out for sure. That's all I need.
The next item is in reference to the patent park lots. Yes, we do have lot number 5 under contract at full price, so that has been signed. Mayor signed that, so we're heading towards closing on it. We also are working towards a contract on lot number 4. Soon before, we had some questions as whether we would cut the trees. We've countered back. We're waiting to hear back to see if they will sign the contract.
And I feel pretty good about staying where we're at on that, don't you?
Absolutely.
I agree
Yeah,
with
I
that.
don't know if we're cutting no trees.
Buy it as is.
So hopefully that one will get a contract.
Makes it a little more valuable than that as street.
Well, we're going to price that.
the last one.
Apply to me.
The next item is in reference to the FEMA flood maps. Commissioner Lowry's been working diligently on this, and we had a meeting last week. I'll let him give you an update as to where we're at with it.
Yeah, I just wanted to get the board and the public, staff, on property here in the city and around the county. Basically what has happened, with the preliminary maps, we've now formed a committee, and a chair, and what we're doing is working with Northwest Florida Water Management District. They've come in and, Jim was there the other day, and they have now basically stopped the clock on the flood map review. And what they're gonna do, we pointed out sections where we wanted them to take another look at to see how we can move those lines. If we got a line that's crossing the side of a corner of a house, if they might shift that line a little, the other way. But they're gonna take probably 2 months in taking another stab at looking at the map. So they're working real hard with us. I'm happy with it. We'll see what happens there. But the new maps, we're looking at probably between January 2018, July 2018, somewhere in that time frame. So just giving everybody a heads up. If you got any questions, please call me at the county office. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad.
The next item we have is in reference to the fountain replacement. We have already ordered up 3 to pay for the TDC funding on this. That's taken care of. The board had asked for us to see about the price for the 4th one. This would be over at Buck Griffin Lake. We have, if you'll turn to page 10, that is the actual price. This would be for the 4th one. It would be funded through city funds. If you wishes to go ahead and replace the 4th one, we could do that too.
Guys, y'all know I brought this up 2 weeks ago. It was okay with the board and everybody's in agreement with me. I would like to take the $3,328 out of boat ramp fees to pay for the 4th fountain. And that would be my motion.
We understand that again, now, what was that?
I'd like to make a motion to take the $3,328 for the 4th out of boat ramp fees.
Okay, we got a motion by Commissioner Thurman, do I have a second?
I'll second for discussion.
Second by Commissioner Ashford.
Why go around? Can we take that out of BP?
We can do that. I did just originally thought that the 4th fountain would be the one down there by the boat ramp.
No, talking about Griffin, right?
Oh, yeah, we are now, but I don't know how we came up with that. It was, I thought originally, I think it doesn't really matter.
No, it doesn't. It don't
I
matter.
mean, it's
We
now
can
doesn't
say
get
that
fit
there's
for
2
pump,
already in
so-
the TDC and the
You see where
4th
I'm
one's
coming
right
from
there
there? That was,
for, the lake now.
Jim just messed up when he said that.
Yeah.
It's 4 pumps. They're all exactly the same, and they're all going into the pond.
We have money from BP to pay for 3 of them.
No,
TDC is paying for 3, yes.
We need to pay for 4.
Yes.
Any more discussion?
Second stand.
Are you sticking with taking it out of the boat ramp?
I don't care where we take it from.
Yeah,
I just think
we're
that's
over
the
down there. You're
Hell,
out
man,
there.
I can tell by the smiles on the face down there.
Second stand?
Second stand.
Okay. All right. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Unanimous vote.
Just want to be clear.
2016-17 budget, we're in the home stretch tomorrow night at 5:01. We're looking towards adopting your budget tomorrow night here in the Woodbridge building. Okay. The next item is the Joe Company impact fees. We did send a letter back to them in reference to the impact fee letter request we received from Joe Company. We haven't received any information back this time. So.
There was a difference in the fee, wasn't
What we have
there? They
is,
had what we had.
there was some actual fee that we feel that are owed to the city from the Joe Company, so we responded back and told them those fees we have owed. The next item is the charitable contributions. Commissioner Bissett will talk to you a little bit about it tonight.
We'd like to move forward with it. We discussed it 2 meetings, I think, so, next meeting, I hope we'll have something in writing that we can, actually vote on.
I have a problem with it. It's voluntary. If you don't wanna give anything, you don't have to. But, you know,
Just setting up a mechanism, setting something in place that will identify what the money's going to,
Yep.
that type of thing, instead of just saying it's going to.
Right.
Something,
Yeah.
be
I
a
think a lot of people would
little
give
more
them,
specific.
do some, a lot will, I think it's a great idea.
The next item we have is on the business license application at 507 10th Street, the Waterman Funeral Services.
Be honest with you, we got a lot of information right as we were needing tonight. You know, if we got it yesterday, it would've been a lot better. We could've had a night to look it over and things like that. I don't think anybody's had a chance to look at everything, but I think we're gonna do is we're gonna have, each group speak, say what they wanna say. If anybody in the audience that wants to back each group up, we'll allow them to come up also. So, I'm gonna open this up to Max.
Well, we've been up twice first.
You
These
guys
guys
just
wanna
get
go
nervous
first.
because we're in front.
Well, it doesn't matter, what, you don't mind coming first?
I don't talk to you on behalf. I'm Ruby Gilmore,
Okay.
and, we've been paying commercial license all this time since, early eighties. And, we need our funeral home to be open. I know that, St. Clair had it before, Kirkland, Patrick had it before that, so we put a funeral home all this time. And these people don't want to live by it, but there's a big old sign out the front saying what it is. I don't know why they couldn't see it when they moved in.
Right.
So we need to keep it open.
Frank Carolina with the zoning RGB, and that's why they had to move in there, that's why they were living there, bottom of their business. There's a problem in the zoning, and understand something being done, if there isn't a problem with the zoning.
Right.
This property appraiser's office direct quoted me, and I put that in the paperwork, what he said, and they have an opinion on this, because they don't believe in me.
Was there an active funeral home there when you sold the house to Max?
I haven't sold it.
It was under lease to Sutherland's.
Yes, it was.
No, I'm
active.
talking about
Someone-
the
yes,
next door
when-
neighbor's house.
when
Didn't they
I-
buy that from you?
Linda, we bought it from Linda.
Okay, all right.
Right, my daughter-in-law, that's my daughter-in-law.
Okay.
And it was active, Sutherland was, in there then.
The property was sold to the Max?
Yes, when they moved in the house, when Linda sold it in the house, Sutherland's funeral home was there. Little Steve and Big Steve and, Mary Sue, you can call them and talk to them, they were there from, when my son passed away in the early nineties till, 2012.
Right. Were there any concessions given to them when they bought the house, or they knew a funeral home was beside it?
Well, anybody can look at the sign, big old sign, and
Did
see
they
it
get
out
a
there.
deal on the house, or was it full price?
The house was owned by her daughter-in-law.
My daughter-in-law, I didn't own it, my son, had a music store there, and she remodeled it and made a home, living home, so she could move out the funeral home, so Sutherland could, rent, funeral home.
Right.
On her son's death, they split the property with Miss Lynn and Gilmore, and Miss Ruby and Donahue. They retained the funeral home, and Miss Lynn retained the marital home.
Right.
Right.
Later time, she said, you know.
Ms. Gilmore, since the time that the funeral home closed, have you maintained an active business license with the city for the funeral home? Have you
No.
applied every year for?
Now, she just paid the same tax, and she didn't have any deduction in them, so it didn't make any difference.
We didn't have a mortuary license, so we could not rent it. I was really messed up, and my husband passed away, and I could not rent it until now.
Jack, you wanna say something?
I would love to say something.
Come on up, mention your name for the record.
Yes, sir. My name is Jack Collinsworth, 402 Sixth Street, Blue Lawn, Michigan. I grew up here in Fort St. Joe, home of life, graduated. I know most everyone here. I just want to speak on behalf of the Wabbits. I hope you don't excuse me for it, but Miss Lynn and Mr. Mark come down from Georgia, and they got a prominent business hours forward here. their other daughter, Dina, she moved down here as well, works at the hospital here. Casey wants to move down. She moved down, reopened the Walker Funeral Home. And I would like to say, I keep up with Gulf County. The state of Florida's growing, the county's growing, the city's growing. Most of the meetings out here, we want to bring businesses in for revenue, since the mill went down. And I think part of growing is support and trying to get this wildly going.
Is anyone else here would like to speak for Ms. Watley? Y'all come up.
And my last thing to say, I think last few meetings it's been kicking around. I think tonight we can make a decision. Let's move on, because I know the city has bigger and other issues. You know.
All right.
That's all I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you.
I'd like to, thank that land. You said you couldn't understand the papers?
No, I didn't get time to look at them.
Basically.
I mean, they were given to me and I walked in here about 6 o'clock.
Comparable to the areas, stayed pretty much with the county assessor told me, there's only been a couple sales. The comparable one would be Comfort's Funeral Home. There's only been a couple of sales around there, because it's supposed to be scheduled R2B as well. There's only been a couple of sales right directly around Gilmore Sutherland Funeral Home. But most of them, fall short of what they have to make a proper assessment of the values on the lands, or whether the property values would go up or down with the funeral home site. Most of what it shows in there is around the time the relation bottomed out in 2008. That's when a lot of the values went up or down. It don't really reflect what's, the funeral home has actually done in the area, other than provide a service for the community. And that's basically what this property plans to do, is provide a service, provide jobs for our community, and not affect the property. Everyone I've talked to admits that the derelict building would be more of a deficit to property values than an actual. Anyway, take that how it is. I did put in a paper in there showing commercial settings and residential settings together. It had the pros and cons list on it. And there's things you can look at that show that it's good for a neighborhood, and things that show that it would be deficit for a neighborhood. Most of the things are like deficit for bars, something like that, in a residential neighborhood. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to create jobs, create revenue there. Like I said, unless the zoning is wrong, I don't believe it is. It's the same as other hometown businesses here in town. Like I said, one of the comparable is R2B as well. And it seems to have done fine over the years. So, the site where Gilmore Sutherland is has been built on for many years off and on. We just don't see the problem with being a funeral home with pressure. We took a short pole, most people wasn't home. The few that was on there, and most of them agreed to didn't make it. They were asked either mark yes or no. I think there was one that marked no, some weren't home. I'd say most of them weren't home at the time, trying to be taken yesterday, this morning. Most people were going. I don't know what it takes to get a pole going, but try to do as we can to make it proceed forward. Thank you for your time, that's all I have to say. Unless you have any questions.
Anybody have any questions? Yeah, come on
I
up
have
one
one
time.
thing. I won't leave here no stones unturned. I watched the news last night, seen a little article about maybe property values going down. As we all know, back in 2008, when the market went down, all of our property values went down. If you go around the corner to the south and 3 blocks down the road, there's another funeral home, Mr. Rockins, and respecting. Right across the street at the bridge. So, it is what it is. And welcome on board.
Anyone else? let's see y'all come on. Oh, boy.
Just have to smile.
I just want to also say, I think there's a lot of animosity and a little bit of aggravation from the other side. I have no animosity whatsoever towards the Watley's. I like them. They're lovely people. I will continue to speak to them or whatever, regardless of what happens from here on out. I think it's more salacious for people to believe that it's a neighborhood fight, and it's not like a neighborhood fight or anything. There's no fighting. There's all good. There's no animosity. So I put a packet together. It is a lot of paperwork. You're absolutely right. It was a lot for me to put together too. If you will allow me, I would like to go through it very fast.
Okay.
I promise not to take a long time, and I will try to speak really fast like Northern Girl instead of Southern Girl.
Yeah, don't draw, don't draw.
Not too fast. So I've provided, of course, as you see, the zoning map on top, and just so everyone can see, the location is right in the center of the residential, or the R2B, and both residential units, they're actually split down 10th Street, both residential areas. So we are right in the middle of a residential area. It is R2B, so there are businesses allowed and that kind of thing. I also want to say this is not just me speaking, but I am bombarded with other people, and they're out of state, and they're out of town, or they're older. So part of my frustration is that I would love for them to be here, but I literally have calls and letters and things coming in, and people, I don't know how I got
Some of it's
elected.
in the package.
I don't know how you guys did it. Yeah, we'll get to that. But I am not a commissioner, and I don't like being the one speaking for everybody else. But somehow I got that. So, you've got the map of the house where it is. You'll see when we get to the end the neighbors that we have around there. I also placed in a grandfather clause. This was something that was brought up from one of the people that I talked to, and I said, well, you know, someone has said that maybe we would grandfather it in, that type of thing, and they wanted me to make sure that I was correct. Mr. Attorney, if I could address the grandfather clause, could you please explain the grandfather clause as it pertains to operating a business from a
I
building?
think the piece of paper in your package
Is it
pretty
appropriate?
clearly outlines what grandfathering means. And I believe in our land development regulations, the lapse in the use of a property in a certain way for a period of more than 90 days eliminates the grandfathering.
So you can dismiss that part then, and you did have, and they would have asked about that, so I have promised to put forward all those questions. Also, you'll see that I've added in the Gulf County Property Appraisers website to show the usage. One property is the Comfort Funeral Home, which is showing as property usage as a mortuary, and then the other is 507 10th Street house location, showing that it is a single-family residential unit. It has been a funeral home, it's not an establishment of bank. It hasn't been in at least 2 years because the utility records show that. So I just point that out. C1 district was where funeral homes were zoned. We are R2B, so if it's not grandfathered in, then we would really appreciate it being in the C1 district. And I am pro-jobs. I want jobs in the community, no matter whether it's 1 or 100. But I think that part of that pro-job point needs to be stressed that we want to do that responsibly. Because within the rules for one business and doing it for everybody. So I do want growth. I want growth. I want everybody to be able to job and do what they want and live here and enjoy everything. But with that comes responsible growth. And if we didn't have planning and building and maps and, you know, regulations, if we're going to grandfather in everything, then there would be no point in spending time and money on people that land the zones and everything else. And we also had adversely affects the property values of the land adjacent. Of course, this is the part that we are most interested in. And again, trying to stay specifically to the ordinance, that's all we're asking is that you guys below that, you will find Diskin Property Research. I, of course, got on the phone and started calling all over the place to more appraisers. And, Mr. Diskin was very helpful. He's actually, a retired PhD. You'll find a seven pages of information in the form of a resume for you all, just to show his credentials, who he is and what he's done and where he's been and all the amazing things about him. He did look it over, looked over the ordinance, did make a few findings, that the traffic would increase and the congestion would be a little harsher on our street, even with a parking lot. And, that the sub-market didn't matter, that funeral homes don't fare as well in a moderate to high neighborhood, that they would be, they would not affect the property as negatively if they were in a lower income. I'm not saying that you go there, I'm just saying if you were a really low income neighborhood, it wouldn't affect it as drastically as if you were in a moderate to high income neighborhood. And then also, he specifically quoted Realtor.com, as well as you'll find he also has given me a quote from the former president of the Appraisal Institute, where he specifically says, I've seen many situations where external factors such as living near a bad neighbor can lower home values by more than 5 to 10%. So this is a next door situation. And behind this, you will also find lots of information that I have promised to pass along. I get tons of stuff in my email. I put it in a folder. I print it out. There's even a Supreme Court case from Frederick versus Brown Funeral Home. It's an interesting read over a glass of Merlot if you guys are ever bored one night and need to go to sleep. Behind that, you'll find a gentleman named Ryan Sandlin that weighed in on his professional opinion about the effects of a funeral home in a primarily residential neighborhood, which is, one of the issues that we're dealing with. And in the very back, we have a letter, and I know it's scribbled and it's messy, and I've made a copy of it, but I was continuously asked to put a petition together. I'm a busy girl. I don't have time to go out and do petitions and that kind of thing. I just went and scribbled it down because one neighbor said, do it, we'll sign it. And this is what we have. And then, of course, Mr. Joyner, he also owns the property adjacent to the funeral home property on the other side. And he is a very lovely gentleman that is having some health issues and really wanted me to speak on his behalf because a lot of the property that is adjacent and around that parcel is his. So specifically, he has 506 9th Street, 508A, 508B, 508C 9th Street, 513A, 513B, 513C 9th Street, and then also 4 rentals on Long Avenue that are adjacent to the funeral home property. So he specifically wanted me to please let him know on his behalf that it says property is used for funeral home at 507 10th Street. I own property directly adjacent to the location above. It is my understanding that the city of Port St. Jake, Florida is considering allowing a funeral home to operate at this reference location. I strongly oppose the action as this is going to adversely affect the value of my property. I own 2 duplexes on Long Avenue. Those are the 2 who are adjacent. And at this time, all 4 of the units are rented. I feel strongly that I will not be able to rent the units, or at a minimum, not for a current rental rate. So, I know this is a big deal to him because he will take a far larger hit than we will as far as things adversely affecting the property. And I feel for him. And, like I said, all I can do is give a voice to everybody. We've only got, our property in the game. I really feel like this is something that it speaks strongly to everyone that we've spoken to. I know Bo was out today and he's going door to door and doing a great job at meeting and greeting and talking to the neighborhood, and I love that. I love to see that. Thank you for doing that. It's nice to see you out and talk to everybody. So we also have the copy of the other neighbors that just are scribbled down on the minus it was a very fast, write it down, here you go, and then I just made copies for you guys. You can tell I'm not prepared, just kind of speaking from the heart for you guys, to just have a little mercy on, especially Mr. Joyner, because he is a gentleman that has, you know, a lot to lose here as far as that goes. And then I did have one other question from someone about the crematorium, and I know they were asking me to send them the link, and it was Charlotte. I apologize because Chad has followed up on the video thing, and I apologize for both of us for following up on the video, but I wanted to explain the reason that we're asking for that is because I have people out of state that are asking me to send the link to them. Otherwise, I don't know what to, you know, how to direct them to get a hold of anything except the minutes that they're interested in the entire thing. So I can only do what I can only do there. And I had asked a question for him about the crematorium, which was, and I know Casey is not interested in doing cremation. She said that at the other meeting. His concern was that if it was made into a funeral home, if it was zoned for a mortuary, and there were no ordinances in place for a crematorium, that if in a year she decided to sell and the next person bought it, they're not going to have a problem doing anything. Then it will be, you know, a crematorium and already in a position for that. So I think that would greatly affect the neighborhood. I think it's something to think about. And all we are asking is you guys to just, I know it's hard. There's personal feelings for everybody on both sides. We just really want you guys to take a minute and look the ordinance over and please follow the ordinance because this is what we're up here for. It's not a personal issue. It's just the ordinance. We're just asking you to follow the ordinance.
Anybody have any questions?
We're more than happy to answer any questions you have.
He speaks.
She did her homework. I
He did
tell
a
you
ton
what.
of speaking the other day too, and they didn't use any of his. I don't know why they didn't use any of
I
his.
have a question or two, and when you bought your house, was there a funeral home there?
There was a funeral home there. However, we did a lot of due diligence because we immediately did not want to live next to a funeral home.
When you bought the house,
Well,
no one there was a funeral home.
Well, wait a
Can I,
minute.
let me finish. If I may, we made a lot of phone calls. We spoke with two real estate agents that talked to us about specifically grandfathering and about the rezoning that happened in 1999. Then we went and we spoke with Hubert. I don't know if any of you guys remember Hubert that used to operate the funeral
He
home
was the
over there.
caretaker. She was the caretaker.
And he is the one that passed along the information from me to the Sutherlands. It's always hard to get a hold of the Sutherlands. And he was the one that found out for me that they were not planning on renewing their lease, which they did not. They rented this building and moved here. They wanted something newer, something bigger, something with a parking lot, something more for season. And when we found that out, then we were comfortable because we knew it was only going to be a little while. And that if they did sell, or if they did move out and they were gone for a while, that maybe someone else would come in with a different business or, you know, another use for the property. So we were willing to take our chances at that point. Did we get a huge break on the house? No. We took a little bit of a break on it with that guy with termites when we moved in, which I know you'll know what that is.
But it wasn't a fully functional funeral.
And also,
It was only for viewing only.
Yeah.
They did all their embalming and whatnot in Panama City at their main location.
yes, the
You
time
were
that
fully
we
aware of that.
it was absolutely not a full service funeral. They
When
did
you
no
bought
embalming.
your home, did you ever consider it may be a funeral home again? Well, Sutherland came in.
Well, that's why we spoke with Sutherland about it. That's why we spoke with Hubert about it. That's why we did our due diligence to make sure that, you know, that they were planning on leaving. I mean, we did,
When they shut down, or when they closed it, I made a deal with the homeowner, the owner of the home, that I would mow the grass, and I would take care of the property as long as I can store it there. And it's been vacant the whole time. There hasn't been any activity or anything. I've had keys to the house. I look over the house, check everything, make sure everything's fine.
there hasn't been
There
a
hasn't been
sign
anything
there
at all.
forever.
And then,
There haven't been utilities
the next
on
couple
it,
months,
so-
boom, here it comes. And, you know, people ask, well, why didn't you bring it up and try to take care of it 16 years ago? We didn't have to. We didn't have to.
great sides here.
And as you say, I did go out in the neighborhood today, I did talk to several people,
Did you talk to any of the ones that did sign the paper?
yeah,
Okay,
at least one,
okay.
and he said he had a problem with it.
Well, that's
On your
funny.
paper that he does, he told me he didn't, so I don't know.
But all that aside, it's the ordinance.
It is,
Yeah.
that is what we're asking for.
And that is a legal document, it's stated, but we haven't heard anything from y'all about your studies.
I think
We're very interested in that.
you guys were gonna do a study
What's the,
The appraiser,
from the last week.
you were supposed to get some appraisers, you were supposed to appoint appraisers to.
I think they talked about one person was all I know, is that right, Jim?
What's
did.
his opinion?
We did contact an appraiser. He did not give an official opinion himself without having to go out there and do this large appraisal. That would be very expensive is what his opinion was, but he did give us some information that did come from Realtors.com that he did pass along to the board, but he did not give an official appraisal opinion.
I'm guessing that that's probably one of the same gentlemen that I talked to, because he said the city had approached and he had said that it would cause a minimum of a 3% depreciation.
I think what I saw was basically what the information you had already given us from basically the same website.
That email quoted the Realtor.com.
Good.
Or y'all in the process of maybe trying to sell your house?
We were looking at selling our house before the recession. And now, yes, we are looking to, and so it does make a larger impact as far as, to sell the house. Our buyer pool is gonna be significantly reduced. We're not gonna be able to find a whole lot of people that are willing to live next to a funeral home. And definitely, probably not as many like we were, where they were like, well, and people do their due diligence about finding out if that person is planning on staying there. And like I said, we would not have moved there had they not been so adamant about going to another building.
So that's the history.
That is
The truth, that is the history, it's not any twists, any kind of a newscast or anything like that. That is.
And the home looks beautiful, no doubt about it. It looks lovely. However, I do really feel like it should be in a residential neighborhood.
By being where you are with Rockies, makes your property go down here, it's not but a few blocks away, that's why I'm asking. That area being, it's got two now maybe, instead of one. I mean, what is Rocky doing? And
I don't
that
think
gentleman
Rocky
we're talking about that owns the property, hopefully his property is close to the Rocky property. I know him very well, I've been doing pest control for him for 20 years probably. I knew his wife when she passed away and everything.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. He is.
I don't wanna meet him with my eyes open. I don't wanna end up in the casket over there.
Yeah.
I feel like it probably does affect it in a way, but not in a way that is really relative to us as much as it will being right beside. I think that makes a huge difference because we are just a fence line, and with that being part of the actual ordinance, which I included in there, like I think last time we come forward with it, absolutely, we do feel like it will adversely affect the property value and the buyer pool.
And when was that ordinance passed? What year?
We adopted our land development regulations in 2008.
The zoning map that we were going by was 99 when we bought that.
Any more questions from anybody?
Thank y'all so very much for your time. We really appreciate it.
All right. Charles, you don't got something to say? Gotta come up front if you do. Can't say it from back there. State your name and address.
Charles Garrett, 1306 Garrison Avenue. I was thinking, these other folks that supposedly signing out the petitions, doing this and doing that, if they genuinely are concerned with this matter, and they really are against it, they should have been here tonight to oppose it instead of, as you say, when you go to him, he's gonna do what you ask him to do. I go to him, he's gonna sign what I ask him to sign. So if he's honestly opposed to the problem, he'd be here instead of just saying this and that. Thank you.
Basically here, gentlemen, is we give, Mr. Watley Funeral Home a business license. That is what we're tasked with.
Mr. Mayor, I'll go ahead and just dig in if I can.
Go ahead.
The only thing that's really got me puzzled here is in our LDR, I underlined and highlighted, it shall be determined by the city commission that such a use will not adversely affect the property values of the land adjacent thereto. That's what I'm really struggling with. The next line is, the city commission shall find that such a use is an appropriate use of the particular plot or parcel of land. I have no problem with that. I think that that's fine, but the way their LDR is written, it's our responsibility to prove that it doesn't adversely affect the land value. Everything that I have researched, I found a lot of things online, and I have many of these same articles in my research that I did. It does show that it will have a reduction in property value. But I think for this board to do its due diligence, I know it's expensive, and I have, very little hope that it's gonna come back saying there won't be an adverse reaction to property values. But I think that it is our responsibility to go out and get that $2,500 study, because this is written so poorly. And I think that when we're all said and done with this, that we need to relook at this, and change the language at a minimum to say that it's the applicant's responsibility to prove that. Otherwise, every funeral home that comes to us that wants to be on R2B, we're gonna have to flip the bill to do the research. And I just feel like going forward, to cover ourselves, we need to get the research done. And we need an official opinion from an appraisal or maybe this PhD, whoever, to tell us whether it'll adversely affect the land value. Until that happens, or until I get a signature from every adjacent property, I can't see voting for a business license at this time. It would go directly against what our LDR is telling us to do. And that's the simplest terms. I can look at research all day long, but until we find out for a fact whether it adversely affects land value, I can't make a decision. And that's where I'm at.
I can only go back on the sign ordinance. A lot of people had signs up before the sign ordinance was ever passed. And we grandfathered every one of them in, that they didn't have to change the signs unless the sign tears down or falls away, then they need to put the same kind of sign. So, I'm not sure about grandfather, but I know we did grandfather every sign that wasn't in compliance with our sign ordinance because the sign was there before the ordinance.
Well, Mayor, and that's why I asked the question.
And I look here and I see, you say the funeral home there before the ordinance. So and that point of the law, I don't know.
Well, and that's why I asked the question, Mayor.
But I mean, what's the difference in the two?
Did we maintain a business license after the business closed? I think that if they would have continued to apply for business license, keep renewing their license, then there was no lapse.
Right.
And that's my opinion, but I'm not an attorney.
Anybody else?
Dave, your suggestion to, spend the $2,500, I don't know where that figure came from, that
I had spoken to an appraiser that said because they don't have enough local data, they'd have to do a regional search and like communities that have more sales comparable in those areas. So there's going to be a large regional search.
And my thing is with the appraisers, and I've spoken to 3 different appraisers, and all 3 of them tell me, basically, if you want to get an appraisal done, you've got to have some comps to prove anything. And really, if you go out in a regional type deal, the same thing that may apply to Chattahoochee, Florida, may not apply to Fort St. Joe. And there's, everything's got to be looked at, so I don't know what good that would do.
Yeah, and there's no comps to support type of sale.
Not there.
Right, locally, right.
And we painted ourselves in the corner with this LDR. That's all I'm saying.
Saying that, I mean, it's our decision, all 5 of us here that needs to determine that, so we're gonna have to make a decision. Based on that, based on the way our LDRs are written, and I don't see that we have the variables to say,
Yeah, or nay.
yeah, either way it goes.
But it's been eating at me all week long for the last 2 weeks. I have been on the research, talk to people, talk to appraisers, talk to the expert. And it's a hard decision to make. And in this job, you have to make hard decisions sometime. And you're not gonna always win a popularity contest when you do, but I'm gonna make the motion that we move forward and then allow them to get a business license for this address for a funeral home. And that's my motion.
We have a motion from Commissioner Thursby. Do we have a second?
I'll second for discussion.
Second for discussion. All right, let's talk some.
I know there were some issues there with the parking there. I know there was a sketch and site plan they had submitted to us. Jim, that parking layout, the amount of spaces, does it meet LDR guidelines?
Commissioner Lowry, to my understanding, they have plenty of property there. I believe Ms. Gilmore was gonna let them use the property that was next door. They don't have formal approval yet from the building department. It still would need to go to the building department for formal approval there, but I believe the property is adequate there to move forward on the property.
Is that still the plan?
Yes.
And I'll just make one final comment, guys. You know, this is a really simple, common sense test. Everyone that leaves here tonight, go and ask 10 people, if you're looking to buy a house, would you buy a house next to a funeral home? I'll just leave it at that.
And I'll say, whatever decision I make tonight is a hard decision for me. So I've known Chad for several years. Chad's done work for me around my house when I need him to. I don't know Ms. Wally, but she seems like a nice lady. And so, I hate to even take a vote, but I gotta take it. And, gotta vote the way I think it should be. And I'll just say one more thing. I hate to change things on Bob McCall. You put an ordinance up after something's already there. I don't know why in the world we did that. We already had funeral homes in areas, in residential areas already. It just didn't make sense. So it's not an easy decision. I'll have to live with whatever I do tonight. And I hope I still be friends with everybody. I don't want to be enemies with nobody.
That's the same way I think each and every one of us feel. We don't want, I know I don't want to, I can tell you, but we're put up here to make these tough decisions, and
Can I make a suggestion?
it's, what's tough?
It's just a suggestion. May I make a
Yeah.
suggestion? I was, just a suggestion. If the study is indeed gonna cost $2,500, why don't we just put the parking lot up to see if it passes first, and let that be a deciding factor in the beginning? I mean, do we know if the parking lot is gonna pass? It's just an idea. And that way, because I love Fort St. Joe, and I like all of you guys. I don't want anybody, I like the Watleys, I don't want anybody to have to spend an exorbitant amount of money, but I also know that there are a lot of people that I'm speaking to that are blowing up my phone that do not want this to happen, and I feel, as Commissioner Ashford, that this is a common sense situation, and I just really feel like there may be repercussions from others around there that have a lot invested that may try to, just stop, but I just wanna,
I think we're talking about Sue.
No,
Is that what we're talking about?
we're not saying anything.
I'm not saying
That's the
anything.
word I've heard passed around, that's all I'm saying.
I'm just
Well,
saying,
you do
we
this,
just had
you do that.
the same
You do
situation.
it, they're gonna see, if you don't do it, the other people gonna see it.
We
We may get sued like 2 or 3 people.
We just want things to be done right.
just wanted to be.
Okay, there's already been a situation over there where the entire construction project was shut down for no permits,
Are
no
you guys
permits.
aware of that?
Are you guys aware of that? The whole thing was shut down, okay? To me, that's crooked already. Well, I mean, I gotta stand
But
up
they
for it.
solved that problem, did they not?
Well, they did it, they did it. So what's to say something else is gonna go on? I'm just a little, before you make a decision, please understand where we're coming from. I don't want this history to repeat itself. We're here to grow, we're not here to stay the same. If things keep going the way they are around this community, it's not gonna grow. And I understand
Just
that.
those things that burn will fall up and burn mine up.
But there has not been an appraiser
Are
yet.
Are they not
It's gonna
calling
make it right.
Well, I have given your number out to
Yeah,
several.
no one's calling.
So
I had
I
one
can-
person call me. they have the rental house beside
I
them. Charlie,
can
yeah.
I can only
What
speak
Charlie's
to what
at?
I'm
They called me.
I just, I don't wanna get you riled up.
No, that's
All I
fine.
wanted to do was make a suggestion.
That's fine.
That would
But-
maybe a medium for us.
But that is a law. The ordinance is a law, just try to go by it. And without proper documentation from an appraiser stating that it will keep the same value, then that's an issue. Big issue. Just, thank you.
Okay.
We're still in discussion.
Since I let them come up, I'll let you come.
Yes, sir.
But this is it.
Yes, sir.
Come on.
All right. As they just stated,
Hopefully you come up at the same time.
as they just stated, we're here to grow. And y'all were elected by the city to do this job, and like you said, it's tough decisions. And Mr. Ashbrook, he said, go out and 10 people, would they like to buy a house by the home? Well, I don't know them, I don't have nothing against them. Well, they did. I mean, they did. So why ask 10 more people? They chose it.
They did.
They chose to buy it. And another thing, it's a historical building. Gilmore's and Sinclair's had it, St. Joe is very historical, and all those said stay. And Sundance thinks that.
Thank you.
I just want to answer it, the construction when we down there, it wasn't construction at first. I went and got occupational to do that. Boat Creek came down and told me that I wasn't supposed to do the work we was. We stopped at that time. We did hire a contractor, Gary Warren, clear your seats to do the electric. We don't try to do nothing against the law, and we're gonna buy it. That's all. Like I said, it was zoned R2B, you know, it might change or something. Some of the, I don't know what changed, the city codes or whatever, or zoning. We weren't aware of these, part when I went up and talked to Mr. Jim Anderson and said about it, it's R2B and still was. Like some of the automatically, that still be able to bid, have the same business, and that's what we're trying to live with. That's all we've got. Nothing's gonna be done against the law. Everything from now on, we've got to do so. He'll be the one advising me of what we can go from, even after the contractors, electricians, parking lot, or anything else that might be done. We talk with him first and difference. So nobody tried to break our laws, nobody meant to step on them.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Let's bring this to a vote. Anybody else? Any commissioner? Have anything to say? Commissioners, I think I'm gonna poll every member for the vote. Individually. Mr. Gazelle, I'm gonna start on your end.
Okay.
How do you vote?
Well, we had wonderful presentations on both sides. There are pluses and minuses on both sides. There are wonderful people on both sides. So, you know, we're in a no-win situation here. But you gotta pick one. And after quite a few sleepless nights and talking to some people, my vote is yes.
Okay. Mr. Lowry?
Yeah, I feel the same way as you do. It's tough decision to make. I vote yes.
Commissioner Ashby? Commissioner Thursday?
I feel the same way as Commissioner Mazet. I like the MAC. I don't know the other family that well. I know that they've been members of town, but any feelings I've had with them in first class, this is not about who I like more than others. I just do not heart. And I've prayed about it, I've thought about it, I've researched it. My vote's yes.
Thank you. The mayor's vote is yes. Motion passes 4-1.
On new business. First item we have under new business tonight is, chamber request. We had a request here for $500 to help out with welcome bags, Mayor, so if you wish the board will get a check cut over to the chamber.
Move we approve it. I think it's something we approved last year, matter of fact. So I move we approve it.
So a motion by Commissioner Mazet, we have a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ashbrook, any discussion?
Yes, discussion. Didn't we just voted him $1,000?
I believe it was 1,500, I believe.
1,500.
$1,500 next year.
And it's
So
not
is
funded, that's something we already promised.
This,
something
that was
we've already
something we promised last
We
year.
hadn't already done that.
We had to pay them. We had to
They just submitted a request.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, the next item is Jones Homestead Sewer. As you recall, oh, I'm sorry, one other item in front of that, we had off-premise signs. Mayor Patterson wanted to talk to you tonight about it.
Oh, yeah, that's something else. I just wanna get straight what we're gonna do. I mean, I thought a few meetings back, Mr. Ratcliffe come up here, and was kinda asking us about the off-premise signs. And I thought we would agree then that we were gonna leave the off-premise signs, but they must be moved at the close of business. You close in the afternoon, you close the movie, and you put it back out the next morning. I think, is that right, what we compromised to do? I mean, as they say, the audience knows that will happen, we're not signing this.
But we let them, when Mayor Madison was here, we had a lengthy discussion, we just decided to let, the folks that were off 98 put a sandwich board out there, but they were supposed to take it in every night. That was what we're taking.
It's my understanding that, there's about 4 that's been identified as not removing those at the end of business. I talked with one of them personally, he had somebody picking his sign up in the evening, put it back in the morning. And we also sent the other 3 letters saying that they needed to move the sign, but they're not moving the sign, so. I mean, I don't know how to handle it.
I spoke to one property owner, and what I told them was that theirs is not just a little A-frame, there's one that's on a vacant lot. They've got permission to, that if they would take and pull that thing up outside of the, onto the private property, that I thought that would be sufficient. And they have been doing that. Moving it back, and then in the mornings moving it back. I don't know if they're doing it every day, but I have seen them.
Moving it while it's closed,
Oh,
just there,
they're
just moving it.
taking a golf cart or something, pulling it back.
Is that legal? Have you got the landowner's permission to park it there?
It's still an off-premise sign.
It's still an off-premise
It's
sign,
an off-premise sign, but
but, like, other places have got them, businesses that's on 98 are putting them out, but they're putting them on their property. They're not putting them out in the right of way. Like a dive shop, he put some out, but they're all on his property. Crazy Fish, they put some out, but they're all on their property. I don't think they're out in the area.
they're on the sidewalk, they're not on their property.
I think they got them right off the sidewalk. Now, I've been looking, but I'll check again to make sure.
You know, I don't know, Mr. Mayor, but with the season at the end, unless it's just something that's tacky and ugly, and we're getting complaints on, I don't have a problem with it. But if we are getting complaints, and it's a problem, then we need to address it, but I don't ever hear anything.
Well, one person that I said was taking theirs up has come to me and want to know why he's not going to do it. Right. Why does he do it, nobody else? So, I mean, that's what I'm trying to just have a level playing field, everybody play by the same rules.
I don't think there's,
Yeah.
I don't think there's any problem with policy that says if y'all put your sign up at night, that's okay. But everybody needs to follow the same rules. Because if you have an ordinance and you don't enforce it, somewhere down the road, you're gonna wanna enforce it, and you're not gonna be able to.
Right. So Jim, could you reach out to Richie and get him to go see those 3 places and make sure they all moving the signs?
We can, but do we want to consider amending the ordinance that says that you'll take it up at night? Because right now it says they're not permissible at all for off-premise signs.
I would be open to that.
Can we, is that a PDRB thing? Can we refer that to them to write something up for us?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If it needs to be a motion, I'll make it.
If you want to correct, if you want to enforce, you want to enforce the laws that you have on the books, and right now we're not.
Well, let me ask you something. When we, changed the sign ordinance, and our champions changed a lot of that, we didn't go to the PDRB board.
I think you did last time, didn't you?
They had no.
Yeah, because it was a long, drawn-out process.
Yeah, my God.
So are we thinking amending the sign
That's
ordinance?
up
or
to you.
doing
Right now,
another
right now, the
ordinance?
ordinance says that are not permissible off-premise signs.
So we'll just add some language in there to allow them
As long as they take them in at night.
and
Or they're not
enforcement
open.
as well.
Well, we can't.
We gotta put that on there so we can enforce it.
My thing is, I just feel bad for the people that don't live right there on 98. They're trying to make a living, and they may be on Reed Avenue or over in, Marina Cove area or something. You know, and we've been talking, and, you know, we've signed ordinance, made all the churches take up all their signs. They can't even advertise for where their church is, which gives me heartburn. Maybe we need to take a deep breath and workshop this sign ordinance and put that on a piece of paper what we want to, if we don't dig into it. Because I got more problems with that sign ordinance than just that. So do we really wanna do this?
I mean, I know people that won't even put a sign out there, they want one out there, but they feel they'll get in trouble over it. That's just, so.
Oh, it's communist. The whole sign ordinance is communist.
I just feel like the time being, you know, they just need to take them home.
Just a cursory reminder.
We can let it dead horse fly too if you want to, man.
We need to take it down, let's don't open this sign.
Let's let the chief do it.
That's Richie's job, right?
Every violation's a misdemeanor.
That's all on that.
We'll march on it, man. The next item I have is the Jones Homestead Sewer. A couple months back, we were notified we got $250,000 of legislative appropriation money for Jones Homestead Sewer. We're gonna meet with the city engineer tomorrow to start getting our thoughts together on the scope of work for it. It is a no-match grant that you have 3 years to get the project done. We need to go ahead and put a scope of work together, put it before you and get it on back to DEP.
So we need to make a motion to go ahead and allow for that to start, pay it.
Not yet. As soon as we get it together for you to look at, but we haven't got anything
Okay.
yet for you to look at. Yeah. We just want to get you to know that we're going to start putting it together.
That's good news.
Okay. The next item is a reference to the building lease agreement. Just get your thoughts together tonight. I talked with Ms. Letha Matthews. She wants some more time to look at it too as well, but it is time to put together our new lease for it.
Just table that.
Yes, sir. I would just recommend tabling that. The last item I have tonight is the fee waiver request of the junior service.
What do they want to do?
It's a fee waiver, we're laughing about this because the last fee waiver we had, it allowed them to use the Centennial Building, they left a huge mess out there. We had to clean up, and, we had no recourse with a deposit or anything, and, so, once again, act like a bad guy, at some point in time, we just gotta either let everybody have a Centennial for nothing, or no fee waiver.
Is this Centennial Building?
For a nonprofit, it's $100. $100.
This is Core Park.
Well, it doesn't matter, it doesn't matter, it's a fee waiver, I know what you're saying, but
It's the nutcracker
at some point in time, we got to dig our heels in, and after a while, when they keep calling City Hall and talk to Therese and whoever, and they find that they keep saying the city doesn't grant fee waivers, and after a while, we won't have anybody want. So, that's our name. I mean, really and truly, I mean, we really, at some point in time, got to fish and cut bait on this thing instead of having, we have one or two every week.
Yeah.
And, it's costing the city a lot of money.
You know what, though, even when we do give a people waiver request, and I don't totally disagree with you, Commissioners, that, but even if we do give a people waiver request, that doesn't mean that we don't need to take a couple of $100 or $100 or whatever for damage cleaning deposit. You know, I mean, even if we do give them a fee waiver, you still
I
gotta
do
pay
along
the
with that.
deposit.
I could go along with that.
I would say let's start doing that.
I mean, that's just, because like you said, you have no recourse if they, you know, that may help them clean it up anyway.
Discussion there.
So, how much money we talking about? Come on up.
Discussion.
Chris,
Commissioners, Mr. Mayor, John Parker, 2005 Garrison Avenue, Port St. Joe. I just would like to remind you, gentlemen, that last year when we did a fundraiser for the library, we did pay our $100 for nonprofit. So if that would help you to make a decision, then I would by all means urge you not to waive the fees but require the $100. Thank you.
I got in trouble with Miss Gibson, I think, that night, because we wouldn't allow that fee waiver, but I think what we did, we donated some money to the library.
Yeah.
So it was, one pocket to the other pocket, but still it wasn't a fee waiver.
So you wanna make somebody wanna make a motion or something, or they pay us, deposit for cleanup?
Yeah, I'll make a motion, to approve the fee waiver. I mean, this is a good group, they do a lot for our community.
No question.
A deposit, it's $200, reasonable.
I'm not even concerned with the deposit at the park.
Yeah, I'm not either, we wanna keep it consistent.
I'll second, for discussion. Let's, I know we passed, a fee, schedule for all our buildings in the city. Mike, you recall that they had deposits attached to them?
Deposit is 300, isn't it?
I think it's $300 for a standard, individual user. Now, for the ones that had the $100 non-for-profits, I don't think there was a deposit on theirs, but the people that are paying the standard $450, that they would pay.
So do we need to bring that back to us and amend that, fee schedule, Mr. Gibson? Since,
Probably just adopted that by resolution.
We do, so what we can do is just update that resolution.
so you want to add $200 deposit to the nonprofit if it's not already there?
That's what my motion.
Okay, I'll second.
All right, first and second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. That it for you, Jim?
Yes, sir.
Right. Public Works, talking to John tonight?
He's not with us tonight, Mayor, but like I said earlier, we are gonna go over all the projects tomorrow. Mr. Grantland and, Mr. Small, we're gonna try to get all the projects together. He is also moving along with the 71 and 98 project. We hope to get that wrapped up in the next week and a half.
All right.
And then he's gonna start coating the roof of the Centennial Building.
All right. All right. Larry, what you have for us?
I don't really have a report tonight, unless there's questions.
Everything going pretty smooth?
Pretty smooth. Good.
Appreciate you all working with us.
You got anything, Mike?
I know, sir, just the budget meeting tomorrow at 5 in the morning.
Okay.
Finalize the budget.
All right, wastewater? Eric?
We contacted Morrow, which company we got, it's in the process, we haven't gotten it yet.
How's the,
Get water out of the lagoon to the spray field.
And how does it work? Kim seem to working on the algae and, do you
Like
know
you
yet?
drive over the overpass right now, it's gonna look kind of a little brown and green, the algae is dropped. So, now there's no algae.
Right. So maybe it is working.
It seems to have done some.
Humidity's also dropping some, so probably that's helping with it. Not much.
Right now it's looking, mine's looking a lot better than the other models. They're gonna still run, more tests, we're taking more samples, stuff like that. So we're still, after until, all the results will be.
Thank you for your hard work.
all right, any more questions? Thank you, Gary. All right, Mr. Clay, man, that is mail.
No, sir, that's, the last I heard from him, the regulatory letter's been prepared, whatever the world that means, but that's obviously something that DOT has to sign and send back and has to get approved by the director. So he's out of town this week, and apparently the first of next week, it's one of the first things to do. We'll see, that's the latest I know. I want to spend a few minutes now talking about the boat ramp project. We talked about it a little bit 2 weeks ago. I want to come back with you. I gave, all of you got a smaller version of this in front of you that you can take with you and look over. But, essentially, the gist of the project, the big picture of the project is to replace the seawalls on both sides of the boat basin. That's the north and the south, and then add timber docks down the side. Seawalls, old, needs replacing, and then the timber docks give you more, mooring area for people when people are launching and retrieving and all that. So, couple things I do want to ask for some guidance on from y'all, because it doesn't make a difference from an engineering standpoint. It's more of just a functionality. The wall that we're talking about putting back will look very, very similar to what's there now. Probably a 10-foot wide concrete sidewalk on top of it, which is about what's there now. At the same elevation that's there now. That elevation seems to work when we get storm surges and those types of things. So not changing that a whole lot. Currently, there's no step down on that part of the wall. On that little sheet pile wall, there's step down. Boats in smaller boats, when they pull up that wall, it's hard to get out of it. Not every boat's small, though. We certainly have all size boats using that boat. So one option is to put a step. We can certainly get a step put on that wall, on the new wall we put back. You can put it on one side and put it on both sides and put it on no sides. Just something I want y'all to think about, talk about, kind of give me guidance on what you want to see. Similar type question for you on the timber part. This part coming down, your dock in the middle is going to stay like it is now, and it's got a portion of it that has a step down, a portion of it that doesn't. Same question with that. You want to step down off of it, you know, so the top part will be 4 foot wide that everybody will walk on. We can add a step down to that without any problem, or not add it. Again, you can add it one side, both sides, some of one side, some of both sides. I mean, the options are limitless on what you want to step.
Clay, couldn't you just take that last section of the dock and drop it down a step?
So the whole thing, yeah, so this, in terms of elevation, the concrete cap is about 350, mean high water, I think it's a 0.5, yeah, 0.56, so at mean high water, there's about a 3 foot difference between mean high water and top of that cap. So what we are planning on doing on the timber dock is stepping that down a foot from that, so the timber dock would be 250, and then if you wanted to do another step on the side, it would go down beyond that. So, yeah, we are gonna step the timber dock down. The elevation of what you have there now is about a 220, so relatively about the same elevation, within 3/10, which is a few inches. But that's the idea. This remains the same elevation. Step down about a foot to get to the timber dock, and when I say step down, it should be ramp.
Right.
So ramp down about a foot, and these elevations will be similar to what you have now. Just kind of visual.
Well, I definitely think we do need some both, and I'm not an engineer, that's why we got you, but you know, when we build this thing, guys, we're gonna hear from everybody after the fact, you know. Half's not right, so we should have done that, so, I'd like to give it a couple of weeks and see if we get some feedback.
Yeah, let's talk to, all our official letters.
Let's do it.
Tony, come up.
Well,
And I can meet with y'all too, you want to individually go down there and you got some boat guys that want to talk, man, let's do that.
Willis, could you mention maybe a little bit in the paper this week about we're getting ready to do that, and we're trying to reach out to the local fishermen in our area that bring, you know what I'm saying, just to let's try to get the word out, because I know once we do it, it's not gonna be right.
Clay, on the north side, along, timber docks there, they're attached to somehow to, I guess, the seawall, or what riprap we have there, I guess.
It's
Are we gonna
freestanding.
shore that up?
Well, it'll be on piles, it'll be freestanding right by itself, now it'll be over the riprap in some places, but not all of it. So it'll be freestanding by itself.
Do we need, while we got a little money, do we need to reinforce that riprap area down there? Are we pretty comfortable with
I
that?
didn't see anything that, you know, there's no major erosion problems I saw. I'll certainly, I can ask John tomorrow when we sit down, but, you know, I didn't see any obvious areas that look like they've caused problems over the years.
I don't think next storm come around, just wash all that timber rock away without, you know, any little breakwater or something.
Yeah.
Break it up, so, anyway, we can talk about it.
So that was one of the things I wanted to highlight. I threw on here kind of screen set up, he's gonna have sheet piles laid on the ground. He's gonna use a lot of area down there for that, so I just wanted to let you know that at some point during that construction, I fully anticipate the building will be closed from a safety standpoint. I think, my opinion, once you get these built, you can probably build that and still have the ramp up. Right. So I don't know that it's gotta be closed the entire time, but certainly there'll be a portion of it.
The concern I do have though, when they do start, is how, I'd like to see us try to put the lay down yard and everything as far away maybe from the children in the playground as we possibly could, because we don't want those children over there playing on that. And I can tell you, a 6, 7-year-old little boy, that's gonna look like a lot of fun to him.
We can certainly, we can identify for all the contractors, say that's your area, where you can store your materials, where you can lay it down, and we can also tell them we expect you to put construction things around.
Right. But I just, good idea, safety for the children.
One thing, guys, time is of the essence on this project because spring will be here before we know it. This is a big project right here.
What's the build out on this? How long?
Probably total, I would say 4 to 5 months. But the wall part of it is probably only 2 months, you know, and then, like I said, the timber dock may be faster than that. Well, that's why we're here. That's why we're talking about the next couple of weeks, talking about these steps and what we're gonna do and what not do. Ideally, get this thing at least moving back up before April. I mean, I think March, mid-March, something like that, kind of when the season kicks back off.
This is our last meeting this month.
Is there any direction from us that you need right now so that you can go ahead and move forward?
Just don't, I think just, you know, if you're happy with what we're talking about, just the steps.
But I'm assuming that you're not gonna change the seawalls, and that has to go before the pilings.
Yeah, the wall's not changing, but the step off the side, if you want to step or not want to step. That wall difference. Well, in terms of bid, I mean, we gotta have something clear for everybody to bid on, so that's why we're talking about that. I don't think 2 weeks hurt you.
Yeah, I really think good about holding the public.
Yeah, me too.
I would do not want to get one.
I'll hear that from my buddies.
Why don't we try to shoot to get you back a bid proposal next meeting for all of us to get together and meet Mr. Smallwood, see if we can show up this bid proposal, try to get something back to you in 2 weeks. That would be good.
Right, yeah, I think we advertise it October, see bids in November, you can start in December, and get that.
A small change, a step time, needs to be a change order, right, so we can bid it now.
It could be. So that right, I mean,
Could be,
different
this is-
commissions over the time have felt differently about change orders, but that's what we were talking about. What do you want to see? We can add that, we can not add that, we can proceed however you'd like us to.
The only thing, and I guess it's pretty cut and dry, is that to me, I just wish there was something that we could do with this money without getting outside of what we're allowed to do. With any place where we can do something with that riprap, I mean, that's just probably not something we can do, is it?
What do you have?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I think Commissioner Bazette has mentioned it before, I wish we could do a better job of the way that looks, but is there anything we could do? I don't know. You wanna think about it?
There's definitely things you can do. Depends on what you want it to be.
Right.
I don't, we can talk about it, I mean, I'm looking at
Everybody think about it, and everybody else think about it, it may not be anything, I don't know.
Backfill the same. Clay, I tell you, I would like to see the dimensions between the docks drawn.
Yeah.
So we can see.
between that middle dock.
Right. The area between that and then the step off that we're proposing.
Commissioner, that's a valid point, because your turn radius, that's the biggest thing you gotta be concerned in is when you're turning a boat around, it's gonna be congested, and when it's real congested, if you got boats on both sides, if you got a step down that takes another 2 or 3 feet, your turn radius is gonna be twice as hard turning in and out of it.
It would take about another 20 inches out from the wall, that step. So, because that even narrow it even more. It would.
Yeah, we may want to, you know,
maybe do one side.
Right. Yep. That's what I'm down, that's probably. Well, I appreciate you bringing this tonight, and that just kind of get an idea of it.
Like I said, call me, somebody got questions, don't call me, I'm around, I'm even down there. In a couple of weeks, we'll get an advertisement. You know, we have a permit, so I think last time we were waiting on a permit, so we got it, got a permit, so
Very good.
we're good.
Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you so
Anything
much.
else for me?
Good. No, we're good, thank you.
Next up, the code enforcement. Therefore, you're on page 26, look over. Anything for anybody on the code enforcement? Everybody still getting their updates? All right, chief.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a couple things this evening. Let's skip to the second one first, though. As you know, we're gonna use this year's JAG grant to purchase a patrol vehicle. I envisioned us purchasing a four-door pickup truck, like Sergeant Richards drives. They're more versatile, easy to haul, evidence, bicycles, whatever. And during Hurricane Hermine, it became obvious that we don't have a four-wheel drive. Anytime in the past that the police department has needed access to someone with an issue, we've had to call Mr. Grant. On 3 occasions, he's either carried us, fire department members, or EMS personnel to a location we couldn't get to without a four-wheel drive. So after that, I started thinking, well, what's the cost difference? Can we get a four-wheel drive? And we can. I submitted the grant. I found out yesterday that if you ask for a truck or an SUV or police vehicle, it would be a marked patrol vehicle just like the rest. If you use federal dollars for that, I have to have your approval ahead of time. So I'm here to ask for your approval if that's something you think we need, or the other option is we go back to the table, redo an application, and get some kind of car.
Is it gonna cover the full cost?
Our grant is $15,510.
And then we're budgeting.
The city has put 14,000 additional, so we would have 29. Isn't that right, Wayne?
That's correct.
$29,500 to spend. The truck, if we got a Ford F-150 four-door, four-wheel drive on state contracts, $25,280. So we'd still have roughly $4,200 to equip it, which we could easily do. When we bought the last car on the grant, instead of paying them $8,000 for it to show up with blue light, siren, all that, we used pieces, parts we had, we built the car. We'll have to buy a cage, that's $400. We can do it for that price, but I have to have approval for you along with the application. I have to send the minutes from tonight's meeting if you approve it.
I make a motion that we approve that for the chief.
We have a motion from Commissioner Thurston, do we have a second? Second from Commissioner Ashford. Any
Discussion, yeah, I have some, I'm 100% for the idea and for the truck and everything. But Chief, we buy new vehicles, we have for over the last 3 or 4 years, but we never surplus any of them. I think, you know, we need to look seriously about when we get a new one, let's take something out of service, we've got to pay insurance, maintenance, all that on an old vehicle. Are we able to get rid of something when you get the truck? We could take something out of rotation. This vehicle's not for me, so an officer will get this vehicle. So it'll be a trickle down. One of the Crown Vics, which is our oldest cars, they're 2008. One of them would come out of a daily rotation, but we only have one extra car now that the sheriff's office actually gave us. It's an old Impala. It's got 180,000 miles on it. So I wouldn't want to get rid of anything just because if something breaks, we got to have something for them to drive. I mean, all our cars, that's the problem with our fleet, is getting a car a year. We're driving 2008s, 2012s with high mileage.
Right.
So we can take it out of service on a daily basis, but I don't know that we need to get rid of it, so to speak. I don't know what the insurance is.
So you really feel like what we need is the truck and keep something, but take, you know.
I drive the Impala the most. Right. I wouldn't want one of our officers having to rely on that car. If, just say something happens to one of our other cars, and we got to put them in that Impala. I'd much rather put them in a 2008 Crown Vic than that Impala.
My thoughts were we
keep an inventory, and end up having to pay insurance on it every year, and maintenance and all that, so, but if we need it, then maybe taking it out of rotation, some of the maintenance issues might go down, so that's my thought.
It's also nice to have the extra car for down the boat ramp.
And that's what-
Like you do.
Yeah, we parked it in the median up by the courthouse on busy weekends when people are coming into town. That Impala's good for that, but trust me, we don't want somebody driving that thing 2 or 3 days, 12 hours a day around town.
No problem.
Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
I appreciate that. Thank you very much. The other thing I have is, since the city hired me, I've had a vision of the police department having a police explorers program. Several of y'all have talked to me about that. We've tried to find ways to fund it. You guys know our budget's tight. We don't have the money. So what we did is we partnered with St. James Episcopal Church, and we applied for a DuPont feasibility grant. And it was granted. We just got the letter. They're going to give us $5,000 to start a police explorers program. It'll be St. James Episcopal Church, Fort St. Joe Police Department, and Mount Carmel Baptist Church. As a team doing this, the city won't see the money. One of the churches will house the money and pay for all the bills. So we're going to be, in the next 30 days, we'll have a meeting, kind of make sure we're all on the same page, get this thing off the ground. We've got a year to spend the money. We're going to be looking for targeting kids 12 to 17 years of age. So we'll be talking to guidance counselors, school teachers, anybody that can give referrals, churches, for kids. So I just tell you that's to me a success story. I'm glad it's happened. If it's successful, which I think it will be, we'll have to come back in a year to the drawing table and figure out how we want to fund it going forward.
Our children are our future. You've done a great job of embracing those children in our community, and I think every one of us up here proud of the job you've done, so we'll definitely support you.
Appreciate you. I appreciate y'all. The last thing I have is Officer Caleb Kesterson is here with us tonight. He's our newest officer. He is a 2012 graduate of Fort St. Joe High School. He started August the 1st.
Glad to have you.
Been here just about 6 weeks. That's all I got, unless you got questions for me.
Anybody any questions?
That's what you mean.
Yes.
This is right here for you, Tim.
Yes, sir.
Chester Davis, Pastor Philip. I was at the meeting with DuPont.
Okay.
And one of the things that you just said that would be a great help is that they were willing to help fund, especially when you go other places, other churches. Just many churches you can be involved with the same grant, we will increase it. So I'm saying if you got 2 churches and we can get 4 or 5 more in that same position, then DuPont raise the state. And that was said at the meeting with Katie Ensign and anyway, they talked about that. They said they trying to bring the community together as a whole, making us actually use each other in order to get the formal wins.
I like
Yes, sir. All right. Thank you, Chief. All right. City Clerk.
Commissioners, on page 27, you have a list of the current PDRB membership. After our meeting on the 13th, each of the people whose term is up this year stopped by. Everyone would like to continue serving with the exception of Miss McElroy. She said that she did not think that she needed to continue serving, but Mr. Burge, Mr. Campbell, Mr. Early, and Mr. Keels also expressed a desire to continue their service. Their term, as you can see, ends November 4th, and we would need, if it's your pleasure, to reappoint them to the board. That will give us 8 members.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion from Commissioner Brazil, second from Commissioner Thursby. Discussion.
I just have one comment, and I'm looking at this, and we have a disproportional amount of people rolling off this year, and then in 17, only 3. I would move that the people that we appoint going forward roll off in 2018. That would bring us back to every year 3 people roll off that board instead of 6 one year and 3 the next.
I don't have a problem.
So you, November 16th folks, you want their term to expire November of 18?
3 of them. Whoever we appoint, plus we gotta pick 2 more that would just lose 1 year off their term this next time around.
So you're keeping them in line, basically saying that we're not gonna appoint another 9th person.
No, we can appoint a 9th person, but we'll just put them on there for 2 years. And then 2 more people, that are on this list that wanna continue, we'll just ask them, hey, would you be okay with a 2-year term? Just so everyone's on a 3 people per year cycle.
Yeah, that's what I follow.
I have a question. Were these 9 members on this board? I think 7 would be good. Myself, 7.
You only required to have 7, right?
Yeah.
And I would think.
5.
It's 5 to
5 to 5.
5.
Yeah, okay. And if Ms. McElroy is not wanting to come back, that would be 1 gone already.
And I spoke with Ms. Alexander Martin today. She said she would like to continue to serve.
I talked with her also, David Berger.
I think we need to look at attendance record.
That's what I think we need to
Yeah,
do too.
that's a good idea. She said
You know, if there's somebody that's not attending, then we need to just, nicely tell them that, we're trying to.
We're going on with these 7 members?
I'm fine with that.
We have to vote on that, to drop it from 9 to 7?
You just gonna appoint somebody.
Yeah.
You gonna reappoint them.
Right.
That's true.
So, I mean, this is November 4th, term, so we can wait till next meeting, I guess.
This will give you plenty of people to have a quorum on there, you'll have 8, but you can always come back and drop them. You can do it through attrition, there may be somebody along the line that says they don't want to serve.
I'll withdraw my motion.
Okay. Okay, so we'll give that another couple of weeks and, need to find out, do we have an attendance record?
Yes, sir,
somewhere?
we do. Each meeting shows who is absent, who is present.
Maybe each commissioner should maybe go up and take a look at that, see who hasn't been attending the meetings. Okay. Just do it, give them a Charlotte, is that fine, Ms. Charlotte?
Yes, sir, it's in my office, be happy to go over it with each other.
And I understand this day and time is tough to get the meetings.
Getting a quorum with 9 can be challenging.
Yes, and I've heard that from several of the members too.
That's all I had, gentlemen.
That's it. All right, thank you, ma'am. All right, any citizens wish to be heard? Come on up, sir.
John Parker, Fort St. Joe. I'd like to circle back to the vote on the fountains. What was that vote?
On what now?
On the fountains that we put in, was money taken from the boat ramp fees or not?
Yes.
It was. Okay. When we voted the boat ramp fees in, it was a contentious vote, and a lot of citizens were against the boat ramp fee. One of the promises made was that the boat ramp fee would go strictly back into the maintenance and upkeep of the boat ramp. I'd like to say that the city website states that the boat permitting fees go back into repair and maintenance of the boat ramp. So is it good use of our money to take those boat ramp fees away from repair and maintenance on the boat ramp and put them into another use? We have a hard time keeping that boat ramp going as it is. We have a great deal of usage down there. So I would like to just point out that a promise was made to keep boat ramp fees for repair, maintenance, upkeep of the boat ramp, not balance.
And I don't disagree with you. I think the reason that we've all been a little lax on that, Mr. Parker, lately on it, is because of the $800,000 grant that we're fixing to get started on down there. We know that right now we bought radios for the police cars.
Yes, sir. I understand totally the budget issues that the city councilmen's face, and it's not a small issue by any means. And boat ramp fees, I'm sure, are not a huge portion of our income flow into the city. But nonetheless, there was a promise made. And, this was such a contentious point that it was even on the Panama City TV stations about the boat ramp fee being charged. So I just would like to remind the commissioners that a promise was made, and that promise has now been broken.
Ms. Charlotte, can you go back and approve the minutes from the meeting that we had when we approved that boat ramp fee and all, so we can exactly look at what we said at that certain time?
Yes, sir, we'll research it for you.
I appreciate it.
All right, John, we'll look into it.
Okay, and then the other thing is, ramp going down on one side for the boat ramp, being a big user of Frank May Park boat ramp, a ramp on one side would be great. So,
You mean step down?
yes, sir, step down, yeah, yeah, all right, guys, thanks.
Thank you, John. Come on up, Mr. Davis. River?
Call for Chester, I'll be fine. Chester Davis again, Pastor Philadelphia, Madam Chair. I just want to remind the council that on the 6th, we're having our final phase 1 meeting on the master plan for our north section. We want to make sure we invite, we said this is on a Thursday, between the hours of 5 and 7:30. And one of the reasons we want some of the commissioners to come out and some of the other representatives so that they can ask some questions, because we really want to change some things based upon how we present ourselves to the city, and maybe the city has some input that can help us make the proper changes, and maybe even, question some of the things that the consultants are bringing to the table. We really appreciate that because your input is very important to us. Now that's on the 6th, on Thursday. Then we're gonna have a healing of the community on October the 29th, and we definitely want to invite all of the city to come out, and we're gonna be feeding on that day too. It's called October the 29th. Okay, and it's called Healing of the Community, and what we're gonna have some entertainment from some of our local choirs and stuff, just singing and eating and fellowship among each other. The idea is to, and we're still trying to get people to understand the importance of what it is to bring a community together for redevelopment or for anything that's going to take a sizable amount of time and finance. So we need you there to, say something, to ask some questions, especially at the phase 3 meeting that we have. And this will give you guys a chance to, question, put your statements in that'll help us out.
John Henry did that one?
Yes, he did. The other last one is this right here. I'm going to ask Commissioner Lizette and those that's on the committee of the redevelopment. Would you see fit or ask among yourself, would it be reasonable to maybe add another correspondent on that board with you guys? Just some dags, so we have some other representation. Right now, I think you just have 2 on there that's not commissioners.
Oh, right.
Yeah, and so.
We'll have to look at that and see what, basically the bylaws state, is there a maximum of this or that? We did change that a while back when the city voted to take it over. So I wouldn't have a problem with it, I just need to, see what the proper procedure is to do that.
I appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, one move down. All right, Mr. Thursday, we're talking to you tonight.
I don't have anything tonight other than one thing, that we all talked about at the SGRA meeting, and, I didn't put it on the agenda because Jim said I didn't need to, but Jim, I'd like for us to maybe get with, maybe Rex, if he's got time this week or something, on some signs for the bathrooms downtown. Leading to the bathrooms, and, so it's just something to talk about, we don't have to vote on it or anything, guys, because it's gonna be under the threshold, but,
A lot of people don't know.
Yeah, they don't know we have a public one right there at City Hall.
That's a good idea.
So the merchants, came to us and said, folks coming in want to know, and actually they didn't know either, so.
Good idea.
that's all I got,
That's
man.
it?
That's it.
All right. Mr. Ashbrook?
I don't have anything tonight, Mr. Mayor.
Nothing. Mr. Lowry?
I got one thing. I called Jim and John yesterday. I was approached by, Mark Cochran, the county public works supervisor, and I asked Jim to try to reach out to all commissioners as well. We've got an issue, it's a county road, no doubt. there's an issue about 1,500 feet up in the industrial road, right before you turn into the Water Glen Road. There's a culvert there, with two 80-foot long pipes, about 5 foot in diameter, and, there's a big issue. It's created holes on both sides, and they patched recently a hole in the middle of concrete. DOT has been contacted, spoke with them yesterday and today, and, we've got a meeting on a separate issue, I know Jim does, tomorrow. They're gonna look at that site as well, along with a site that you guys had proposed. But, I'm just throwing it out there, you know, it kind of be a joint project between the city and the county. And just want to bring it up right now. Go by there and look at it.
Bad dip,
Bad dip.
chicken house.
It's terrible. It's,
Yeah.
but, we'll find out what they think. We're trying to get them to fix it, because that road is eventually gonna be paved in the next year and a half, 2 years, so, we might have to fix this right away. But we may get some reimbursement as well, with maybe some, asphalt paving or something, you know. My thought was maybe if we did this, we could maybe get Water Plant Road right there with asphalt, you know, some big asphalt down, or something like that. But anyway, we're gonna talk, just wanna throw it out there to the moment.
That it? Yep. Commissioner Rosette?
I think, a lot of you know, or maybe some of you don't, Ken Murphy, admitted into hospice at Bay Medical, very sick now, and just, keep him and, his family in your prayers. So, pretty sick.